Okay, so like imagine this, you're at the hospital, right?
Right.
And your best friend just had emergency brain surgery.
Oh, wow.
And then you find out that like it was all triggered by this secret she's been carrying around for years.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to Ashley,
Oh,
the
wow.
co-host of that true crime podcast, Crime Junkie.
Mm-hmm.
Her best friend and podcasting partner, Brett, had this thing called a spontaneous subdural hematoma.
Mm.
It's like the type of brain bleed,
Yeah.
and only 20 to 30% of people really ever fully recover from it.
That's those are some tough odds.
Yeah, they are.
It's a very scary situation for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, those statistics are definitely pretty daunting.
Yeah.
So a spontaneous subdural hematoma, it happens when blood collects between the brain and the skull,
Right.
often because of a ruptured blood vessel.
Oh, wow.
And the pressure from that bleeding can cause some pretty serious damage to your brain.
Neurologically.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what makes it even more complex is that,
What's that?
well, the bleed was actually brought on by Britt's struggle with alcohol abuse.
Oh, wow.
And this was like something that she'd been hiding from everyone, even her closest friends.
Mm.
So this deep dive, it's about more than just some medical miracle. It's
Huh.
about facing, a hidden struggle like that and the power of support and just the strength that it takes to really choose recovery.
I think what makes this story so compelling is that it's something that, like, a lot of us, in our 40s, 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
we've probably all either experienced this directly or we know someone who has the realities of addiction.
For sure.
And it's often, hidden by secrecy and shame.
Yeah.
And that makes it even harder to, like, confront.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes Ashley's story so powerful, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine just the shock of finding out that your best friend is battling something so serious?
Yeah.
And you had no idea.
Right.
Ashley was saying that she just felt completely blindsided.
Yeah.
Caught between that fear of losing Britt to her addiction, but also the possibility of losing her to the brain bleed.
Oh, wow.
I mean, can you imagine?
That's a real heartbreaking dilemma for sure.
It is.
And Ashley's reaction just really shows all those, all those emotions that come with loving someone who's going through addiction.
Yeah.
You want to help them so badly,
Right.
but you also feel so helpless.
Yeah.
And in some cases, you even feel like betrayed by all the secrecy.
Uh-huh.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough.
It really is.
And Ashley's choice in that moment of crisis, I think, is so inspiring.
What did she do?
She decided that she would rather, risk losing Britt's friendship by forcing her to get help
Yeah.
than lose her to the addiction.
Wow.
It's that tough love,
Yeah.
that unwavering commitment to Britt's well-being,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what ultimately helped Britt get on that road to recovery.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Support from loved ones is, like, absolutely vital, when it comes to recovery.
Yeah.
Ashley didn't enable Britt's addiction,
Right.
but she didn't just, like, abandon her either,
Right.
It was this, she had to find this really delicate balance of, setting firm boundaries, but still showing unconditional love and
Yep.
support.
Yeah, exactly.
And that can be really tough, but it can make a huge difference.
It can.
It really can.
Can you believe that, even after everything that Britt had been through,
Yeah.
even while she was still in the hospital, recovering from brain surgery,
Mm-hmm.
she was ready to just bolt,
Get out of there.
Ashley told this story about bringing Britt a milkshake from Five Guys
Oh, nice.
because, of all places, the hospital cafeteria didn't have any milkshakes.
Seriously.
Yeah. So Britt's, hooked up to an IV, recovering from this, life-threatening condition.
Right.
And all she could focus on was, escaping and getting another drink.
Wow.
She even tried to, grab her phone and make a run for it.
Oh, my God.
I know.
That just goes to show, the powerful grip that addiction has. It's
Yeah.
not as simple as just willpower. There are all these really complex factors going on, like physiological stuff, psychological stuff
Yeah.
that creates this dependence that can be just so incredibly difficult to break free from.
Yeah. It's really hard.
It really is.
It's like Ashley and Britt's husband, Justin, could totally see through her, They recognized just the desperation behind all her actions.
Yeah.
They knew that she needed professional help,
Mhm.
and they weren't going to just let her run from it.
Good for them.
So what happened after Britt was released from the hospital?
Yeah, what happened?
This is where her journey takes a really inspiring turn.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear about
Yeah,
this.
this is where we see her commitment to change
Okay.
really shining through.
Okay, so tell me about it.
She went into a treatment program
Okay.
and she just embraced the principles of recovery,
Oh.
like with remarkable dedication.
Okay.
Yeah, she dove headfirst into this 12-step program,
Oh, okay.
which is a structured approach to recovery.
Okay.
It emphasizes personal accountability,
Mm-hmm.
peer support, and spiritual growth.
Okay, so for someone who might not be super familiar with that,
Yeah.
what does that actually look like?
Okay.
What are the key principles of a 12-step program?
Well, it's based on, 12 steps.
Okay.
They guide you through the whole process
Mhm.
of acknowledging your addiction, taking responsibility for what you've done,
Right.
making amends for past wrongs,
Okay.
and then developing this the spiritual foundation for your recovery.
Okay, and how does that translate into everyday life?
Right.
I mean, Britt was still working, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She still had a life outside of recovery?
Of course.
So how does that work?
Well, the program really encourages you to regularly attend meetings
Okay.
where everybody shares their experience,
Yeah.
offers support to each other, and they learn from each other's journeys.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so in addition to that group aspect,
Right.
Britt also started going to individual therapy,
Right.
which really allowed her to kind of dig into all of those underlying emotional and psychological issues that were contributing to her addiction.
Oh, wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a really holistic approach.
It is.
Combining that community support with the individual work of therapy.
It is, exactly.
That's really neat.
Yeah, and Britt really just embraced all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
She went all in, attending meetings,
Mhm.
working with her therapist,
Yeah.
reading all the recovery literature.
Wow.
It's that level of commitment that, that often leads to really lasting change.
Right, right.
Yeah, and we can't forget about the courage it took for Britt to be open about her struggles.
Yeah.
With everybody publicly.
Yeah.
She chose to share everything with all the Crime Junkie listeners,
Oh, wow.
which is a huge audience.
Yeah, it is.
That decision says a lot about her,
Mm-hmm.
It says a lot about her strength, her desire to break the stigma surrounding addiction. Think about it. She
Right.
could have just kept this all private,
Right.
but she chose to be vulnerable, honest,
Yeah.
so that, other people
Yeah.
can feel seen and understood.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It really
And
is.
it's like she took all that shame
Yeah.
and turned it into hope for everyone else who might be, struggling silently
Exactly.
with their own addiction.
Exactly.
And the response from the Crime Junkie fans, I bet, was incredible.
Oh, it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Thousands of listeners reached out,
Yeah.
shared their own stories,
Yeah.
expressed so much gratitude
Yeah.
for Britt's honesty.
Wow.
And it just shows how powerful it can be,
Yeah.
to just open up and connect with others
Right.
who've had similar experiences.
Yeah, it's a reminder that, even though addiction can be super isolating,
Mm-hmm.
we're not alone.
Not at all.
And by sharing our stories,
Yeah.
we can help to break down those walls
Absolutely.
and create a more supportive and understanding environment.
Absolutely.
But as we know, recovery isn't a one-time thing, right? It's
No.
an ongoing process.
Yeah, it is.
So tell me about that. So what is that ongoing commitment to recovery? What does that even look like for Britt?
Well, for her, it's it's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
She still actively goes to her 12-step meetings.
Okay.
Regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and finds a lot of strength in that community.
Yeah, it seems like that sense of community is
Yeah.
a recurring theme in Britt's story.
They
From
are.
Ashley being such a good friend
Right.
to all the support from the Crime Junkie listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like having a strong network is so important.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Britt's also talked about how important therapy is for her
Yeah.
as an ongoing part of her recovery.
Yeah, it's a safe place for her
Yeah.
to process all those emotions,
Right.
deal with any underlying issues that come up, and
Yeah.
just learn those healthy coping mechanisms.
So it's not even just about abstaining from alcohol
Right.
or whatever the drug is.
It's a whole lifestyle change.
Oh.
It really is.
It's about dealing with the root causes
Exactly.
and like creating this whole new life for yourself.
It's about developing a better way of life, you know?
That's awesome.
More fulfilling, sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Britt's been very open about, the fact that recovery isn't,
Right.
it's not always easy.
Right. Of course.
There
it's
are
not.
definitely ups and downs. She has moments where she doubts herself.
Uh-huh.
And there are times when, she really has to dig deep
Yeah.
and find that inner strength.
But she's like so inspiring because she's so open about all that stuff. She
Yeah.
doesn't like try to hide it,
Mm.
and that makes it like so much more relatable.
It does. It
Right?
makes it feel more attainable for people, Like,
Yeah.
if she can do it,
Yeah.
I can do it,
Exactly.
And it's that honesty,
Yeah.
that willingness to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really resonates with people.
Right.
It breaks down that stigma that surrounds addiction.
Right.
And it shows people that, hey, you can overcome this. You
Yeah.
can live a healthy life,
Yeah.
fulfilling life.
You can be happy.
Exactly.
So like bringing it all back around, to like the whole point of this deep dive.
Yeah.
What can we learn from Britt's story?
Well, I think Brick's story really highlights just how complex addiction is
Yeah.
and how important those support systems are
Yeah.
and just how powerful honesty can be in recovery.
Uh-huh.
But, I think it also just shows how resilient we are,
Yeah.
how much we're capable of overcoming,
Right. Even if it seems impossible.
even if it seems totally insurmountable.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like there's always hope,
Yeah.
even when things are really tough.
And it's not something we have to do alone, right?
No, absolutely not.
Like we could always reach out
Oh,
if you or someone is struggling with addiction.
Yeah, there are resources out there. SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, they have a hotline.
Yeah.
You can reach them at 1-800-662-HELP.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Huh.
24/7.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They can give you information,
Okay.
referrals, support, whatever you need.
And don't forget about just talking to someone, right?
Exactly.
Like a friend, a family member,
right,
a support group.
Yeah, anybody.
It can make such a difference
It really can.
to just share what you're going through.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I just
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this thought. Recovery is a journey, not a destination.
I love that. There's going to be good times and bad times.
Yeah.
You're going to feel strong. You're going to feel vulnerable.
Right.
But the important thing is just, keep moving forward.
That commitment
Their
now.
commitment to healing,
Right.
to growing,
Yeah.
and to living a life that's free from that,
Yeah.
that grip of addiction.
Yeah. Britt's story is the perfect example of that.
It is.
It really is.
So inspiring.
It is. It's really inspiring.